Working the mic nice and warm. Oh yeah. Hey, why don't we start off with the reviewer rant? So here's the deal. There's no such thing as a classic mic killer. You've got a bunch of clickbait on products like these. Is this an SM7B killer? Can it kill the SM7s?
Wacky thumbnails!
That's not how microphones work. Stop it. Maybe consider some dignity. All right, making this personal. When I was working in VO, I got really burnt out on microphone and home recording questions. One of the most obnoxious trends was how fixated some people would get on replicating another microphone's characteristics while spending as little money as they possibly could. The time and energy and fine-tuning of plugins and the treatments and the recording space, and at the end of the process, they'd maybe save a couple $100 for a mic that kinda sounded like the mic that they were trying to replicate. Maybe? I cannot tell you what your time is worth, but to me, that's absolutely not worth it. If I want the sound of an AKG C414 ULS, I know I'm gonna get that sound with an AKG C414 ULS. So if you want the sound of an SM7B, $399. That's what an SM7B costs. But do you want the sound of an SM7B? Specifically, that microphone? Or do you generally want the characteristics of a large cartridge dynamic microphone? There's a rich tradition of broadcast mics in this space, the MD421, the Heil PR40. And today, we get to benefit from crossover prosumer products like this. This is the Samson Q9U. Full disclosure up front, I've done some production work for Samson, some freelance videos. I did them a couple years back, but I'm no longer doing that work with them. But Samson sent this my way to share my thoughts, so here they are. I'm a huge fan of using dynamic mics for home recording. Now, they might not be quite as detailed or as articulate as condensers, but they're really handy for rejecting noise in your general environment. And when you get right on top of them, you get that super rich, warm tone that we've come to associate with classic radio DJs. After dark. I don't know where that came from. The issue for a dynamic, they are kind of low output, so you need a lot of preamp to drive them. Or you need to get on with some kind of line activator, like my cloud lifters. A dynamic helps solve some issues in your recording space, but that's balanced by a need for additional gear. It's really not recommended that you just plug a larger dynamic into an inexpensive USB audio interface. You need more power. So that makes this new crop of USB broadcast solutions so compelling. The ability to record over traditional XLR connectors or to plug in directly over USB. For an old school broadcast sound, most of the fun tricks are here. This is solid construction, nice and heavy. You really want to mount this to a decent microphone arm. The big ol' pop filter muff is included in the box. On-microphone controls help tailor the sound. Now, I tend to prefer the sound with the low-cut filter engaged. The mids boost is a little bright to my ear, but again, that's all personal preference stuff, how you want to capture your voice. So I think it's better to have it than not. And on-microphone mute switch is nicely handy, and I'm always going to dig on direct monitoring, being able to plug headphones directly into the microphone you're recording from. But I wish we had on-device gain and volume controls. I'm a tactile kind of guy, so hitting a pot or fader is just going to be more organic and faster than fiddling with software. But I have to give Samson huge credit here, as the USB connection is USB-C. I'm so happy to see that. Audio tech does not cycle as fast as consumer electronics, and it's been killing me how many current, brand new audio components are arriving today with micro USB. I'm looking at you, Shure MV7. The guts inside have to do a decent job of putting out power to drive this microphone. And what you're hearing here is the direct connection to my audio interface through my cloud lifter. And my setup is already set up for exactly this kind of recording, and this is how I would really use this mic. But for the rest of this video, I'm going to pop over to the USB cable so you can hear generally how this might sound different. I should also mention there hasn't been any additional editing, except for a little light volume balancing that I do to all of my YouTube videos. I tend to record pretty dry. If I can't get it directly out of the microphone, then it's gonna sound not right anyway. To my ear, I find it a little tricky to hear substantial differences, though I think my cloud lifter and interface combination is putting out a little less self-noise than the Q9U's built-in processing. More, I've just always liked this as a trend for prosumer recording. You start out with a solid broadcast option out of the box. This is going to be great for YouTube videos, for interviews, for podcasts, and then it can grow with you if you decide to pick up additional recording gear and on hardware built well to compete against traditional solutions in this space. You know, like my rant at the beginning of this video about trying to copy the sound of classic microphones. At $199.99, we're in good shape to compete against those classic options, and we're in very good territory price-wise against other prosumer home recording solutions. It sounds good, it looks the part, gets the job done, and it won't break the bank. I'll leave some links down below where you can find more info on the Samson Q9U. Maybe shop one of these puppies online. As always, thanks so much for watching, for sharing these videos, subscribing to my channel. Supporting your favorite content creators has never been more critical than it is today. So I greatly appreciate those of you who are checking out the links in the description down below. Maybe you're shopping a little merch. That kind of stuff really does help keep production rolling on this channel. You can catch a full list of all my affiliates and partnerships over on SomeGadgetGuy.com, or you might consider, just maybe, joining the list of names scrolling by on your screen from my Patreon. Patreon.com/SomeGadgetGuy. This list is basically a collection of the coolest tech pals on the internet, so I hope you'll check them out. Now, you know where you can find me around the rest of the web, at SomeGadgetGuy on the Twitters and the Twitch, and the Facebooks and the Instagrams. And I will catch you all on the next review.